Hi, I'm Arinder Bhullar,
Hi, I'm Shiv, Rura.
and this is the Arinder Bhullar Podcast. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Arinder Bhullar, and today we're going to talk about fashion. I'm going to pass you over to my co-host.
Hi, I'm Shiv, Rura. I'm a stylist, and how we're going to talk. How we're going to start this?
We're going to talk about fashion. The thing we do every day. So I've been running the Arinder Bhullar labels for the last 20 years, and as we've been doing it together for the last 10 years?
It's like 9 years. Yeah. 9 years.
Yeah, and I think we've built a very good rapport, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk about fashion going forward today, and what is in fashion and was in fashion.
And coming in fashion.
And coming into fashion. So let's start with last season, or the season that's just...
Oh, should we start with bridal or non-bridal?
Bridal.
Bridal, okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're quite popular, well known for our bridal.
What would you say was in fashion for last year?
Well, I'd say there was a lot of muted colours, a lot of tonals. I've seen a lot of brides wearing colour on colour, so lots of whites, tonal, all looking quite bland, and yes, all hyped up with the jewellery, very nice. But I think colour should come back into, a bride should be colourful. I feel that. Sorry.
I feel like last year it was very much sort of one extreme to another. So one side of the spectrum was like very muted, as you were saying, very tonal. The pastel colours with white embroideries on them, and then just like a pop of colour in the jewellery.
Yes.
But then the other side of the spectrum was a lot of people were doing that sort of Marwa collection look. Do you know where it was very overly heavy, very mixture of colours.
Yeah, very traditional.
But they weren't, I don't think they were bright colours. I would say they were more like darker, deeper colours.
Yeah.
So it was literally one side, which was pastel, and then the other side, which was darker and deeper.
Yeah.
But what did you think of? What was your opinion on?
Like I said, my opinion was that I feel brides should have, like the traditional colour used to be red, which was beautiful. I'm not saying every bride should wear red, but I feel there should be colour in a wedding, because as South Asians, we're known for our colour, our vibrancy.
Brightness.
All our occasions are based on colour, Mendi night, BT, everything, Maya, everything's based on colour. So, yes, white's nice and pastels are very pretty and elegant, but I think I feel personally, I think colour always makes a bride look like a South Asian bride.
But it also depends on the person as well, I think.
Yeah, so I think if they're used to.
Yeah.
What do you feel?
Like, I feel like it really depends on the person, what sort of person they are. If they're a very sort of like, if they've got those sort of like, they want to do that sort of traditional sort of look.
But don't you feel traditional looks good? I mean, that's the only time, and we all like dress quite modern. Like, look at me, I'm in a dress today. And I'm sure most of my customers or our viewers mostly wear English clothes. So when you come to your wedding day, I think tradition is quite important. Don't you think you should look a little bit traditional?
I also feel like girls want to feel themselves at the same time.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because the girls that are brought up in this country, born and bred in this country, so was I, that we need that fusion. I think that's why I created my label, the Arinder Bhullar label, was to add fusion into the tradition. So keep the tradition, but also add that modern touch to the outfit.
I feel like that's been like your sort of brand. That's almost like your brand motto.
That is my mantra.
Because I remember when I was little as well, you did an interview. I don't know who it was with. It was in a magazine, and you said exactly the same thing in that interview. And that was like 15 years ago now, and that's always been your like brand thing of mixing the two cultures together,
fusing them together. Yeah, and I think when I actually started my business, that was my mantra, that there should be someone out there to create something for the girls that are born and brought up here, because we are brought up with all the muted colours and also the modern looks, but we've also got parents that have brought us up with traditions as well.
Yeah.
So we want a bit of both. So it's like almost putting them into a pot, both of the cultures, and then creating something. And I think that's what I have become well known for. And it's carried through the years, from 20 years ago when I started my brand. My first bridal, I made her a fusion outfit.
What was your first bridal you made?
What was it? It was like a red bridal gown. But it was a gown.
Lehenga?
It was a dress. So it was an Indian. It had Indian embroidery on it, all the traditional embroidery, but it was a dress. And, 20 odd years ago, girls hardly wore dresses, and it was lenge. And when I made this outfit for her, and it had touches of being Western as well as being traditional, and she was over the moon. She was like, wow, this is something different, and she was and that's how word got around to say, oh, look, Arinder Bhullar is in Leicester, and she can create you something that will suit your needs, not just go for that traditional lehenga.
So would you say even talking about going back to last season's fashion, would you say what would you say was different last season that really stood out for you?
What was different?
Yeah, in terms of any designer you saw, even a bride that you saw.
I feel, like you said, you're talking about the Marwa. That was quite, like when some of the designs had horses and
I love that carousel. It was
Carousel
the carousel
on a
lehenga.
lehenga. Brilliant idea, amazing,
The
and
maroon.
that all looked good. And we created a lehenga with tigers on it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And that was quite good. And
That wasn't last season, that was the season before.
Season before, yes, you're right.
That was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, it went on the catwalk and everyone was like, wow. And I remember actually putting this lehenga together and stitching the...
You literally stitched, I remember, because it was made and then the tigers were sent
separately so we could see where they would sit.
And then I went before because I was doing the styling for the show. So I went a day before. And then, 2 days before, and then you came a day after, but you were stitching the tigers on the night before you gave me the lehenga.
Yes, and I was at my mum's house, and I remember, and she said, what are you doing, Arinder? And I said, I'm stitching tigers. She went, that's really clever. I said, and watch, Mum, when they go on the lehenga, they're going to look so good. And when I showed her the finished product, she was really proud of me.
And that's coming from your mum, who's now 90. How old is she?
Going to be 95 in October.
Very trendy.
Yeah. My mum's very trendy. That's where I get my modern fashion outlook from.
So what would you say is for last season, in terms of, because I style, I'm going to talk about the styling side of last season.
Sure.
So for the last season, I thought the styling side was all very, as I said, all the girls that were in pastels were very, clean cut. There was all the slick hair, or very much or because of Hira Mandi as well, they were all doing the open hair.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And then they did the very clean sort of cut jewellery, so it was all, small chokers. When they were doing pastels, it was very small chokers.
Yeah.
Very pretty jewellery,
delicate
jewellery. But then when it came to the Marwa side, I feel all the girls were out. And it was all very vintagey hair, and the jewelry was the big chokers, the sheesh pattis, the tikkas, all of that was all back in again.
Yeah.
But what do you think next season's going to look like?
I think next season I've got lots of ideas. I'm not going to let anything out of the bag at the moment because we have got a fashion catwalk happening in November. We're going to be with the National Asian Wedding Show on the 17th of November doing that show. And I've got my thinking cap on and you're helping me. We're creating lots of new designs for next season. But there's always change, isn't there?
Yeah.
We want something different. I'm always looking for different ideas. So I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. But
have any designers in India or anything released their lehenga yet? I think Manish Malhotra did it.
Manish Malhotra has, but I just feel...
It's very set. I feel like even the ones that he's just done, I think I saw one on Instagram, or two. No, I saw two on Instagram and they're both red. But I just feel like he's done the whole traditional thing again.
Yeah, but I do
which is
nice.
I do like it as well, don't get me wrong. But I just feel like it looks the same as like I feel like if you're going to do a traditional red, or if you're going to do a traditional look, you need to make it look a little bit different.
Yeah.
It needs to be made in a different way.
Do you remember when we did that red outfit for our catwalk show? The one with trousers. We did fully embroidered trousers, a little bolero jacket, a big trail. And when we were creating it, I said to Shiv, amazing if we could do, if someone in Spain wore this, or it's like very Spanish because it was a bolero jacket with the ruffled sleeves. And you're not going to believe this. A girl who was going to marry a Spanish guy walked into our shop and
it was a week after they went on the round.
Brought that outfit. How amazing is that? You know, I can't ever. You know, it's almost like we manifested it.
I feel like.
Do you feel we manifested it for her?
I think we do, but I think, do you know when something's created? I feel like it's one of those where when pieces are created,
so different, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's created for someone. Like every piece is made
individually
for someone. Yeah. Like it's not like we've seen a Manish Malhotra, we've seen a Tarun Talwani or seen a Sabyasachi and been like, let's copy that and let's make 50 of those. Yeah. Like, every bride likes it. Every bride changes.
Yeah, and that's I think that's the beauty of our pieces, is that each piece is individual.
Yeah.
Each one is created with love, care, and for someone in mind. And when that someone walks into the shop, that's like your dream come true.
That someone doesn't realise that we're sitting in your garden at 10 p.m. drawing these things out while we're eating salmon and having a glass of wine.
Yeah, literally. I mean, you know, that's what I mean. The beauty of coming to... I'm going to advertise myself now, is coming to Arinder Bhullar, is if you've got something in mind and you want something individual for your personal choice and your taste, we can create it for you.
If you were getting married next season, what sort of, just a little, like, I know you don't want to let it out yet.
Yeah, don't let me.
No.
Don't throw me into it.
No, but if you were getting married next season, what sort of colouring would you work for? Would you go for the pastels or would you go for the richness with the deeper, darker colours?
I'd go in between. I'd say, you know, or
would you go bright?
I don't know. I'm still working on it. Yeah. My colour palettes, like I've told many people, sometimes my vision is I'll wake up in the morning and I'll open my curtain and there's a sun rising, and the sun will have many colours, you know, like from a grey to a yellow to an orange to a...
Didn't you make a whole collection?
And I did. Yeah. I made a whole collection.
I was only like 7 or 5 and I still remember that.
Yes, I made that collection and it was a super hit. So, you know, when people say, where does your inspiration come from? It just comes.
What's in front of you?
What's in front of me? You know, I might see something on TV, in a movie, in the sky.
It might be a painting, on the floor, or like...
Yeah, something historical. Yeah. And, you know, that's the beauty of it. There's so much around us in the world to give us inspiration that it's just like getting your head down and creating that amazing outfit. Shiv, as we're talking about fashion and fashion going forward as in next season, I've had a lot of inquiries from girls asking about Gurdwara weddings.
Oh yeah,
there's such a, you know, it's a huge thing.
The new big one.
You know, the new big one, and then it's huge because, you know, every girl has wanted a lehenga since she's been little to wear, you know, or a skirt suit or whatever we call them now, to wear on her wedding day. So what is the rules on the Gurdwaras? Because I know you've had a few encounters with friends and family that have gone through that situation.
Even like last weekend, I did a bridal, like I style brides, so I did a bridal dressing, and even with her, she was a bit concerned as well. The lehenga was from here, so even she was a bit concerned as well. But it was they said, and one of my friends is getting married next June, I think.
Yeah,
and she was asking as well because she was again interested in a lehenga from here. Yeah. So she was asking about what the rules are, if she can wear a lehenga.
What are the rules?
And so basically we rang up the Gurdwara. So this isn't all Gurdwara, this is just the 2 in Leicester that we know of. So we rang both the Gurdwara just to double check. And the Gurdwara, basically both the Gurdwara we rang basically said that as long as the blouse has got a sleeve on it, it's not sleeveless, it's got some sort of sleeve on it, and the neck from the front and the back is modest. Doesn't mean it has to be all the way up here. It can be a little bit lower, so you can wear a
normal neckline.
But it's not going for like a really deep,
yeah.
like a deep boob plunge
which
or
is
anything.
understandable, and I
It
do
needs to be
agree with that
modest.
because you're in a place of worship,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
have to have your modesty.
So as long as your blouse is modest and it's not tiny short, it's like it meets the skirt, or basically as long as you're modest, you'll be fine. So that's the two Gurdwara that we spoke
No, but
to.
is that, can they wear lenga?
So they can wear lenga. They can wear a lenga as long as their blouse is modest. I think with this whole lenga thing, I think it was all about modesty. A lot of it.
But I agree with that. But then why did they say that it has to be a salwar suit? Why not a lenga? Is it because the lenga has so much netting in it that the girls can't? Literally, they're like puffed up when they sit down.
I don't know.
Our ones, I know, don't do that.
If they're made correctly, I don't think they should puff up.
Yeah.
For any reason.
Yeah, but why are the Gurdwara saying lenga? Because you could have a longer top with a lenga, couldn't you?
You could have that's the traditional Punjabi look, is a kameez with a lenga.
Yeah.
So I think it's just one of those where
be modest.
It's just about.
Because you don't want girls turning up at a Gurdwara on her wedding day with a lenga, and then the Gurdwara.
We've seen it.
No, normal. I'm just saying if they're modest, they're in their lenga, and then the Gurdwara saying you can't wear a lenga, because I don't understand the whole lenga thing.
I think the lenga thing. I'm not too sure on the whole lenga thing, but I think it's just about being modest, basically.
Yeah, and I also feel girls out there, Punjabi girls, if you are getting married, ring your Gurdwara beforehand, because you don't want them to then say you can't wear it afterwards. So if they feel, and ask them the question why, because I'm a little bit intrigued why, because a lenga is covering you, and if you have a modest top, that would cover you. And as Shiv said, it's all about being modest.
I think it is,
and I think modesty. you should respect the Gurdwara.
Yeah. For the reception, do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
But for the Gurdwara, just be at least a little bit modest.
Yes.
Because on a salwar, it's like, it's as you said, it's why a lenga. Like a salwar suit, we've got a salwar suit, and the neckline is probably wider and a little bit deeper than what some of our lenga are.
Exactly, yeah. And when I got married, I actually, when I got married many, many moons ago, the fashion was lenga. Everyone wore lenga. And me, I didn't know I was a potential designer then, at 19 years old, decided that I didn't want to wear a lenga. My mama brought me a lenga for my wedding, and I didn't like it. It was maroon, and it was, it just wasn't me. And I sort of had a little bit of an argument with my mum, and my dad, bless him, said, let her wear what she wants. And I wanted to wear a salwar suit on my wedding, and I did.
Did you design your own?
I luckily we went to India. It was my cousin's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Singapore, and then we went to India, and I actually designed my own salwar suit for my wedding. And then because my daughter Kieran saw what I wore at my wedding, she wanted to wear a salwar suit, and she did the same. So a salwar suit looks just as beautiful as a lenga, and I feel sometimes it's even more comfortable. And then it's not just a salwar suit. You could wear a sharara, you could wear a garara,
anarkali.
You could wear a narkali, know. So there's many options. If you can't wear that lenga, we can create you something
but
that
then again, that's the
will
thing.
look like a lenga.
That's the thing. I get confused because they say no lenga, but then if you wore a sharara or garara, it's exactly the same as wearing a lenga, apart from there's two legs on it.
Yeah, but it hasn't got netting in it.
You can put netting in
you
it.
You can.
Just
I know. I'm baffled by that as well. But that's the rules at the moment for different Gurdwaras. The rules come from India, from Amritsar. So they obviously the Gurdwara, which we respect, have to follow those rules. So let's see the what the rules change to in the future. So I feel now, going back to what we are going to do for our next season, I've been to a couple of catwalk shows, and I've seen now that a lot of designers are now going back to the 90s, noughties, as they say, and all the bling bling, the shiny, sparkly stuff seems to be very in.
Yeah.
I remember first starting off.
Pastels, or are they reds, or what are they?
They seem to be pastels again.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of whites and mints and pinks, but they all just sort of seem to be in your face with a lot of stonework.
Yeah.
I think stonework is the key word that people are going back to. Well, designers are going back to. I don't know, but I feel I'm not going to go. I am going to go there, but not in such a big way.
Yeah.
So I will use sparkle, inspiration from the designers to add sparkle, but I don't think I'm going to go the route of full-on sparkle. That's all I'm going to give away for my next season collection. Well, you know, that's the whole point. I want these girls to come and see the catwalk show, which I mentioned before was in November, National Asian Wedding Show. So
it's in London, that one, isn't it?
It is in London at the Novotel,
yeah.
So that's our next catwalk show. So if you're interested, come and see us.
And it's at the start of the season.
Yes, it's the start of the season. And if you can't make that, come in store. We've got so much to show you and so much to share with you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think next season?
I think next season it's going to be. I don't know. I feel like again it's going to be the split divide. I think you're going to get the same of. You're going to get your modern brides, and then you're going to get your traditional brides that go very traditional.
Yeah, and we can cater for that because we've got both sides. I mean. We get it, don't we?
Yeah.
There are girls who love their traditional look. And like I said at the beginning, it's always a nice thing. And it's good to have your culture, your tradition in your bridal outfit, because that's the only time you're ever going to get to do it.
I feel like a lot of people see Arinder Bhullar and they always see like it's very modern. And if they always think of like reception looks.
Yeah, I know.
But they don't see that.
Traditional
we
side.
We can also do the very traditional side where we use those very old school fabrics and those very old school embroideries and things like that.
I do recall a choreographer, bless him, he's not with us anymore, but he always used to say, I can recognise a Arinder Bhullar gown whether it's big, puffy, you know, the net, and, you know, it's all very modern, but it's all very Indian, but it's all...
But even saying that, even on the National Asian Wedding Shows, because I work as a stylist there, every time we have a show, and as soon as the Arinder Bhullar rail pulls up, because all designers have their own rails, so as soon as the Arinder Bhullar rail pulls up, without even seeing the suit bags, one of the guys, not even one of the guys, even the models, they just know... Straight away, the models are like, this is a Arinder Bhullar piece, isn't it? And
really?
Like, yeah.
Oh, do you know what? I love that people recognise my brand. You know, they recognise what I stand for. You know, like Gucci has his own styling or Prada. You know, everybody can recognise that.
They have that one thing about them that makes them a little bit
and that makes me feel very proud that, you know, when you tell me
even
that.
The girls, I'm not even saying it, but even the girls, they literally go, without even looking, they literally go, that's the Arinder Bhullar, isn't it? And you're like, yeah.
Yes. And they love it.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm not being biased, I am. But, you know, I feel my pieces on the catwalk always look different because, you know, I've seen people, I've actually sat in an audience and watched my catwalk show and then see the girls come up and I could actually hear the... and, you know, that makes me feel very proud. I love it. Thank you guys for listening in. It's been a lot of fun today. I'm talking to you, Shiv. And we'll be coming back with lots more subjects. Pass over to you, Shiv.
If you've got any, like, sort of questions about anything we've spoken today, or if you've got any sort of, like, you want us to speak about something in the future, just drop us a DM or just comment underneath the video and we'll try to get to everything.
Yeah, and social media, we're on all platforms, so feel free to ask us any question or any subject you want to talk about. And it's goodbye from us.